again, and we have a special guest. And, I just love having special guests. I don't know. So for me, it's like just hearing other people's stories, and it's not even if it's good, bad, or indifferent, just hearing their stories and then just hearing how they just came out of just like a hardship or anything like that. Just is such like inspirational, like role model kind of like just something to like look up to people. I feel like.
Definitely just people who have loss and then
Yeah.
have used that loss to help other people.
Right.
Because it's
Right.
not easy.
Not at all. So go ahead. I want you to introduce yourself and how we
All the
got
way
here.
from California.
Right. Callie in the house.
Yeah. Yep. Sunny California.
Yes.
Hello, I'm Reshma Carney. And
Hey, Steve.
I'm here. Yeah, I love the applause.
Yeah.
I'm here as a trauma-informed mindfulness and healing guide. But my journey here was not one that I ever expected to be on.
Right.
My husband, Sean, died by suicide in 2022. And he was in the Army. He was an orthopedic surgeon.
Wow.
And had just separated from the Army 9 months before he ended his life. So we were at like the peak, we were at the top of the mountain that we had been climbing for over 15 years. We had always dreamed of going back to Washington State after he got out of the military. By then we had 3 children who were getting to that age where you feel like, okay, we can enjoy life now.
Yeah.
And so when we were all in the Seattle area in the summer of 2022, I thought we were starting our forever together. And that all those years of sacrifice as a military spouse, a surgeon's wife. Yeah. And even all the years that I poured into him and his well-being, I thought we were now going to reap the benefits of those sacrifices.
Sure.
And in September, at the end of the month, he ended his life. And it was a shock to everybody, to us, to everyone around him, to his friends and family. He was a very smart, hardworking man, a go-getter, never gave up. Even if I begged him to just give up and let it go and, hire someone to put the cabinets in on Memorial Day weekend, like just take a break. He never gave up. And that's what made this so shocking, because this was the ultimate giving up.
Right. Right. I have to say, I didn't know your husband's name, and that was my brother's name, Sean.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I did not know that.
Was it spelled
S-E-A-N.
Was it spelled S?
Yes. No, that's the real Irish way. I make fun of the other people that spelled it the other way.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But, we always make it light, in this place. And,
Yeah, we are so incredibly sorry for your loss.
We are so sorry for your loss.
I appreciate that.
Jess always finds synchronicities.
Always.
She always finds them.
And
I love that.
This is aligned. Like, I'm always like, and it's not even that I look for it. Like,
no, it just happens.
I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, obviously, like we were obviously in touch via like Instagram. And I was just like, oh my God, like would love to have you on and say your, tell your story. And then, obviously whatever tools and stuff have helped you. And, obviously with your practice and your children, like you just have so many layers of grief, and the fact that you said it was 2022.
Very recent.
That's only 3 years ago.
It's very recent.
Yeah. We just met the 3-year
mark
on the September 30th.
And that's my birthday
this year.
Yeah.
Stop.
So when I reached out to you, I saw the date and I was like, I'm not going to tell her it's my birthday because I don't want her to, I didn't want you to
feel bad
or feel some type of way or just feel, just be in your grief and, just appreciate where you are within your grief on that day of, the year. We spoke about anniversaries and things like that. What did you guys do anything in particular?
Yeah, we this is now our 3rd year honoring him. And it's also the third year that we woke up, made French toast, which was his signature breakfast. And apparently I'm no good at it. So my kids make
I love
it. So
that.
I printed out a recipe and the three of them make it and we have that for breakfast. And then we go and pick up sandwiches from one of his favorite sandwich stores, Jimmy John's. I don't think you have that on the East Coast.
We have
Yeah.
Jersey.
So
We have Jersey Mike's, girl.
yeah, Jersey Mike. We have that too.
Okay.
So we pick up sandwiches and then we go to the beach and we just hang out and we spend the afternoon and early evening at the beach.
Right.
And it's really nice. But as you probably know, the days leading up to the anniversary are almost
They are.
worse,
Yeah.
right? Like they're almost
I
worse.
agree
I mean,
100%.
yeah, up until the night before. I mean, 2 days before, we were screaming at each other and, crying and acting out. And, I had to like pause and say, all right, we all need a break
Yeah.
because our bodies are feeling it, even though our minds haven't caught up yet. And so it's interesting. Yeah.
That's interesting. And how old are your children?
My son is 13 and a half. And then I have a daughter who's 11 and another daughter who's 10.
Wow.
So they were a brand new 7.
Yeah.
She had her birthday 6 days before Sean died.
Wow.
So brand new 7, 8, and 10 when he died.
Yeah. And how did they take it? I mean, besides the obvious, right? Like besides the obvious,
yeah. They responded just the same as any adult did. And that was, why? Why would he do this? Everything was great. I think my son even said, Mom, he just bought that new ski boat, because he did. He bought a brand new speedboat when we moved out to Washington State. We were using it out on Washington Lake. And so, kids are smart. They see everything the way we do, and they have the same questions, the same feelings, but sometimes they don't know how to express it or they don't feel like they can. And there were even moments where my son especially, said or asked, it's because he hated us. This was because of us. This must have been because of us. Or for so many months, he blamed me. And that's tough. Yeah. So yeah, they had the same reaction.
That was like what Kiana. So we actually had Kiana on, and we obviously this is not going to be posted.
It just aired.
It just aired,
and just aired a couple weeks
I think
ago.
I saw that. Her grief after suicide.
Yeah, and her dad committed suicide, and she's like, she's like, I'm mad at the person that I'm grieving. She's like, how do you do that? And maybe that's a question for you. Like, how can you grieve the person that you're mad at? Or even if you were mad.
I was, absolutely. And this has been something I've been more open about recently. In fact, I was so angry that I didn't want to have a funeral.
Wow.
And I didn't think that, I mean, to be very honest, I just didn't think he deserved it. I was really, really angry. And thankfully, my mom convinced me to go ahead and have a funeral for him is really small and intimate. And I'm so happy that we did it now. But yeah, you are angry, and I hated him. And I thought about all the years I had given up of my own life and living to support him and follow him around the country and help him so that he could do exactly what he wanted to do. And I felt cheated. I felt like, a contract had been broken. And so looking back now, I'm glad that I allowed myself to sit in that emotion, no matter how unpleasant it was or how embarrassed or ashamed I was of feeling it. I allowed myself to sit in that, and I allowed my kids to see me sit in that. I talked to them about it. I shared with them. And there were days where I'd lose it and start crying, and I'd say, I hate dad for what he did, you
Mm,
know? And I did that because I knew they were feeling a lot of that too.
mm.
And if we don't model to our
That's
kids
right. They learn by
what
watch,
we're
right?
feeling, yeah, right. What we're feeling, how we're embracing the feelings,
Right.
all the feelings of grief, how we're dealing with them, how we're then showing up in the world. They don't know. They don't know what to do. We don't even know as adults how to deal with something like this. So the anger was there, but over time, just letting myself sit in it and then processing what happened, looking at his life more closely, listening to countless stories from other survivors of suicide loss and even people who have attempted,
Right.
listening to all those stories helped me see more clearly where he must have been that
Yeah,
day
you
that
did.
he
You said
ended his
something
life.
that the loss was sudden, but it wasn't surprising. What did you mean by
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, I've said before that it was a shock,
Mm,
and yet I wasn't surprised. So what I mean by that is I was shocked because, like I said before, he was a go-getter,
mm,
never gave up, pushed. And I never would have guessed that just when his life was starting to become his own,
right.
that he would do this. But I wasn't surprised because I wasn't surprised he didn't want to be in the world anymore.
Mm,
He was living with challenges, depression, anxiety for so many years.
sure.
His childhood brought on some trauma. He went from one thing to the next very quickly, never had time to really sit and process. He was deployed overseas 3
That
times.
would do it
Very
to you.
I know.
That
demanding.
would do yeah, that would
Yeah.
do it to
Very
you. That takes
demanding.
you to the next
Yeah.
level.
Yeah. We had a lot of stuff going on, and men don't have the opportunity to really digest all the things that they've taken on, and they don't have that space to ask for help or lean on somebody. And so when I thought more about it, I realized, yeah, I mean, he was in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
And I think he just got to a point where maybe he thought, I now have everything I ever wanted and I'm still not happy.
Mm,
Mm. And it could have been like
So what do you do?
right.
yeah. That sounds like such a, like
Where do you go from
and you
there, you
mentioned the
know?
word contract, and it sounds like a soul contract. Do you know what I mean? And, like,
Mhm.
there's a woman that's on Instagram, she's the soul contract practitioner, and she actually
Mm,
talks about, like, some souls, they know when they're ready to go, and she actually, like, really goes into a little bit of depth about that, and that's interesting that you use that specific word, like, the end of the contract, because, she has some, some clips on Instagram or whatever, but just hearing that, like, just really, like, it starts to, because I also believe, like, we are all like energy, and we're all here for a purpose. We're
mhm,
all meant to be here for a reason. And it goes back to exactly what I said. I quote on my personal Instagram page, Ram Dass, that we're all here to walk each other
mhm,
home. And I think it's
mhm.
and I think this is, but I feel like you're on your journey with that. And you have your mindfulness practice and stuff. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I've been practicing yoga for
Mhm.
years, and a part of that is mindfulness, using your breath to connect your mind and your body. And I brought yoga and mindfulness into our
Mhm.
family during 2020, March of 2020, at the
COVID.
peak of the
Yep.
pandemic. hmm We were homeschooling the three kids and getting ready to move to Georgia State from North Carolina.
Wow.
So, I had three stations for these kids, and I brought in yoga and mindfulness as breaks just to break up the day. And I started noticing a shift in the energy in our house. And I decided to then get certified to teach kids yoga and mindfulness.
Nice.
And and the plan had always been that once Sean got out of the army and we settled down in Washington State, I would then start building my own business. And so, of course, when he passed away, I kind of threw that idea away. I didn't think I'd ever be able to do it. I'm now there again, but at that time, I thought there's no way I can start a business. So the mindfulness practices that we had been doing since 2020, at the time, they were just ways to move our body and get the kids to start talking about their emotions and really trying to find grounding in our home when the rest of the world was
On
crumbling, right?
fire. It's still on fire, but we're
Yes.
we're a little
It for
we're
Yeah,
okay.
it's always going to be on
Yeah.
fire. So,
Yeah.
but at that time there was so much
Printing. Yep.
uncertainty, and we found so much grounding in these practices. But then when he died, very soon after he died, it was like these practices were
Mhm.
non-negotiable. They were a part of our every day
Right.
of healing, and they still are.
Right. Wow. That's so like, I just feel like that's so powerful, and it's so powerful to hear that as well, that you already had it instilled, and then it's still like you're still using it, like you're still able to use it. Um,
What do you think helped the most in those first few months after? I mean, I can understand when things happen so sudden. Like I lost my sister and her husband in a car accident. So it's like this loss for the children. If a grandparent dies or somebody gets sick, they can kind of wrap their head around that. But I think when somebody dies so young, a parent, an aunt, it's almost like, how could this happen? And they can't make any sense of it. So on top of grieving, they're just so shocked. On top
mm,
of being sad,
Mhm.
they're so shocked.
right.
What do you think helped the
Mhm.
most in those like first months of like just your world being kind of blown up?
I think what helped the most was leading with
Mm.
honesty
Mm,
and openness, connection, and talking. Because I can't even say that in those first few months we were doing a lot of the other
Of
practices
course,
like
yeah.
journaling, nature
You're
art,
just trying to
and
get your bearings.
um,
You're
yeah,
trying to get through the day. You're trying to get to bedtime.
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly, and make it through the
Right,
night.
right.
And so, yeah, I think it was just being very open and honest and labeling each feeling and emotion as they came up for us. Because with suicide loss, there is more than just the sadness and the pain and
Anger.
even
Anger.
questions, right? There's the
All of it.
anger, there's shame,
Mhm.
there's embarrassment, there is also relief. And if you feel slightly relieved that your person died, then you're going to have a lot of guilt too,
Mm,
right? And so we had a lot of different emotions, and we still do.
right.
And it's just having open communication with the kids
Right.
has always
Being
helped.
vulnerable.
And exactly, being vulnerable and letting them see me cry
Yeah.
and feel
I'm
it,
still working on
feel all of it.
that.
Are
I'm still
you?
working on like being really upset and being like, how are you feeling? Like, I don't want to trigger you. Like I don't want to trigger the
Yeah.
kids by crying. And sometimes I will cry, and sometimes like last week, because we just hit my sister's first birthday not being with us, and I remember just being like, I'm okay. I just want to go to my room and I just want to like really have a good ugly cry, and you can
Mm,
knock on the door if you
Mhm.
want, and you can come in if you want. Like, I just want to take a minute and like go upstairs because I felt like I couldn't
Mhm.
catch my breath on the couch.
right.
And she was next to me,
Mhm.
and I felt like she kept like maybe trying to console
Mm,
me or not knowing
mm,
to console me, or
right.
just do I let mom
Mhm.
like, get it out? And I'm just like, gave her a hug and a kiss, and I told her that, and I went upstairs and I cried for a bit, and then I came out and I was like, I'm really, really upset, having a tough time today. It doesn't mean that we can't do anything fun today though. So if you
Mm,
do want to like
Mhm.
go grab a, our town has so many like little coffee
Oh my
shops, and
gosh, yes.
there's like all these little chai
That's
and like
true.
all these little, I'm like, do you want to go and get a snack or get something? And we tried. We couldn't really get out of the house. Like it was real. It's one thing to say like, oh, I'm really not feeling it today, but I'm going to try and make an effort to do something. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But I do
Mhm.
agree with you that it's important to be vulnerable and show these big emotions, because if you're always hiding them, then they don't really feel like there's a
Mhm.
safe space for them to have those big emotions too. Yeah, I
Yeah.
totally get
And I think what you're doing is just as powerful. You said you're working on letting them see you cry, but you're still naming it, and you're still telling them, you're like talking them through your emotions and then taking that break for yourself and coming out. So you're still showing them how you're
right.
grieving and what you're doing to take care of yourself in moments like that. So now they know that maybe they don't feel comfortable crying in front of people, but they can recognize when that comes up in them, and then they can, just like you, ask to be
Yeah,
excused or ask for a moment and then come back. And that's okay. I mean, we don't all have to
right.
share
Right.
tears, but I think it's just having that space where it's not like an elephant in the room. Like we all know, we're all grieving, like me and my kids, it's like we all know, we're all grieving. We know that when mom gets overwhelmed and stressed and starts thinking about dad, she's just going to start crying or yelling. It's like one of the two, and then they usually merge, and I'm doing both.
Right.
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 And,
Yeah.
and like we all know in the family that when my son starts showing anger and even getting some, if I start getting like reports from school, I know
Mhm.
I got to check in,
Right.
because his core is, my kids have amazing hearts, but they're healing and they've been through trauma. And so they're not perfect,
No.
you know?
So that's funny. Not
But
funny, but like the fact that you brought that up. What's some of the tools that families can use? Because obviously you brought up like mindfulness and breath work, and this is things that you do. What are some things that they can use to regulate their emotions, to kind of calm their nervous system, right? Because trauma also brings that on, right? Like now they're in that survival fight or flight, how do you,
Mhm.
like, what tools can you give other families if they're not into, hey, let's do some breath work, because some people think it's like
Yeah.
shishi foo foo, and some people
Hmm.
don't do yoga because they're faith based, or like,
Yeah.
like some people don't believe in
Hmm.
certain things. So, what do you do with certain families?
Yeah, I would tell anyone who's unsure of a specific practice
Mm,
to just start with your breath.
mm,
And it's like when I teach kids yoga and mindfulness, I always say, hey guys, you have a superpower. It's your breath, like your breath controls your body and your mind.
mm.
And the best part about it is it's with you and nobody knows
Yeah.
that you're using it, And so, yeah, start with breath awareness, just taking time to, sit comfortably and quiet the senses around you, close your eyes, and then really just pay attention to the way the breath is moving through your body.
Mm,
And if you were to do that now, you might find that you're breathing from your chest, which is what a lot of us
Yeah.
do
yeah.
now.
Miguel. We had Miguel on. Yeah. I don't know if you got a chance to
Okay,
meet him.
so
Yeah.
he caught you.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as you know, when we're breathing from our chest, we're taking in shorter, rougher, more labored breaths,
Hmm.
and that is actually going to increase our
Anxiety.
anxiety and stress. And it's really about taking a deep, full inhale and a very nice, slow exhale, because it's with that exhale that your body starts grounding, your nervous system starts regulating. So I always like to teach breathing exercises, like with the little ones and even with some of my adult clients,
Yeah.
because they're really easy and simple to
Mhm.
use. And then, other things are easy to do as families, like go outside and do a grounding exercise, pick a color and then point out everything that's that color, or use your 5 senses to describe things you're, seeing,
What is that, like
feeling, maybe
five things that you
tasting.
see, 4 things that you smell,
Yeah.
3 things that you take, like whatever it is. I know there's like
Yeah.
a whole like
Right.
yep.
And you're counting down.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And, journaling's
Yeah.
great. A gratitude practice
Right.
is something I think every family should have. It's really easy to incorporate into family dinners, which we don't do as much as before. So when we do have family dinners, we should always be practicing some sort of gratitude.
Yeah.
Yeah, even saying
Um,
like, what's the highlight of your day?
Yeah.
Because there
yeah,
had to be something that, at least didn't suck.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. We do the rose, bud, and thorn exercise.
Oh,
Have
yes.
you heard
No,
of
I
that
haven't heard
one?
Yes.
that.
Yes. Well, I use it
Yeah.
in my practice.
So,
So no,
oh, do
yeah,
you?
you go
Good.
ahead. You explain it because
Yeah.
I try not to
So,
incorporate.
Yeah.
yeah. So at dinner, we will share a rose, bud, and thorn. And so your rose is something good that happened. And or rose, thorn, bud. Some my kids flip them around, but basically, rose is something good that happened. A thorn is a challenge you face that day, and then a bud is something you look forward to.
Love that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I love the
so
way you
again,
explained
it's
it.
all
Good job.
about. Oh, thanks. And it's all about, because life is not all rainbows and unicorns,
Right.
right? So it's like a nice way to share as a family that we have wins and we have losses,
Right.
but yet we still have things to look forward to.
Absolutely. Oh,
I
thank
was
you so
telling
much.
Jess that we were talking about it in the last episode, how it's really hard for me to get my kids off their phones
Yeah.
because they're just
Mhm.
at that age. And I was saying that I would take them for seafood boil because you'd have to put on the gloves and you have to eat with your hands. And it's like they can't touch their phone the whole time, and I would order like a few things at a time. I would never order everything at once. So we would be there for like an extended period of time and they would have gloves and they can't touch their phone. They were forced to talk. So I'm
Yeah.
trying to do
I love
that. And
that.
would try to do like Korean hot pot where they have to like cook the food and do the stuff themselves. So it's like we as moms, we're always looking for like creative ways and
Yep.
ways to like,
Mhm.
because it's true. I mean, I think sometimes if I walked into my son's room and I'm like, how are you? I'm fine. Are you sure? I'm fine. You can talk to me. I'm fine, mom. And then he thinks I'm rage baiting him. Like he thinks that I'm like
Mhm.
trying to like, no, you're not telling me something or you're not being honest. And I'm like, I'm not, I just want you to open up to me. But it's really hard sometimes. And I think if I walked in and I said, could you take like a really deep breath with me? I wonder. I'm going to try it. I'm going to see. He's probably going to laugh at me.
I love it.
But I think I want to start with like, take a deep breath. Because I feel like I only tell my kids to take a deep breath when they're really upset. And I'm trying to calm them down. When they're really upset about something is when I say to them, hold on. Just take a deep breath. Take a deep breath.
Right.
But why are we not checking in with each other and being like, hey, okay, like take a deep breath. They're going from
Right.
school to practice to whatever extracurricular activities.
Right.
Like let's remind them to be mindful of their breathing and like taking a nice big breath.
Yeah. I think it's so important.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for joining us and giving us
Oh my
all
God,
those
this time went
tools.
so
It
fast.
always goes so fast, especially when we're just like flowing and just the alignment is just it's always there.
It's good energy.
Our hearts are with you.
Yes.
Like we said, there's no, with these devastating things that happen,
Right.
there's no way that we can really console each other. But
Right.
I think we're doing the best thing, the three of us collectively, is just being vulnerable, sharing, and hoping that it helps the next person. And just, I always try to go into like, I'm trying to do things for people that I wish I had in the moment. Like I wish I had this resource. I wish I had connected with this person, or I could put on a podcast or met somebody who taught me how to breathe.
Right.
So we really appreciate your time. Thank you for this is so great. Such a great day. We had somebody from North Carolina, somebody from California. We love that the reach of this is happening. And
where can they reach you?
Yeah,
where can our audience reach you if they want to reach out to you, if they want to work with you? Where can they reach you?
Thanks for asking. The best place is Instagram,
Okay.
Reshma Carney,
Okay.
and my DMs are always open. I take pride in like making sure I get back to everybody because I just think it's so important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And obviously we'll include
We'll plug
it.
everything. We'll
Yeah, we'll
tag you and
plug everything in.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. And to our listeners, thank you so much for listening to this episode. We are on
Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. YouTube, I think, is our biggest. Yeah.
YouTube has been like the biggest thing because they, people comment and things like that. But like, share, subscribe, comment. Keep it flowing so that it can reach the people who really need it, and you're not alone. And thank you so much again.
Thank you.